It's Hump Day.
Hump Day!
It's Hump Day.
Hump Day!
All right, we are live. Welcome, everybody. This is Hump Day Hangouts, episode 127, and we have got everybody here. So let's do a quick hello. I'm going to start as I see everybody and start with you, Bradley. How's it going?
Good, man. How are you?
Not bad on this 12th of April, since I forgot to mention the date. It is going quite well.
I'm glad to be here. See, we got some decent questions already. So we got just a few announcements after introductions, and we'll get right on it.
Cool. All right, Chris, how's it going, man?
Doing excellent.
Good deal. And Hernan?
Hey everyone, I'm not feeling that good, but I'm happy to be here, so I'm feeling slightly better since I'm on a Hump Day Hangout. So
I feel bad. I'm laughing, and I was like, oh god, I'm on video. Like, anyway, sorry, Hernan. I'm really sad that you're.
Don't worry, you prick.
Yeah, don't worry.
Yeah. Anyways, Marco, how's it going?
Good, man. We're in the middle of the rainy season in Costa Rica, and it hasn't rained in a week.
Outstanding. Well, we'll get into this with a few announcements, everybody, and then we'll dive into it. Because like Bradley said, we got a bunch of questions. So if you're new to Semantic Mastery, if you're just seeing us, or this is one of your first few Hump Day Hangouts, please check out Syndication Academy. I'll pop the link in on the page. You'll see it in a minute. And then also Search Space, you can create your free account over there for done-for-you services. So please go check that out after the webinar. Let's see, real quick, we've got a replay going up, right, Bradley? Did you want to tell everyone about that?
Yeah, we did the Rocket Video Ranker webinar with Bill Cousins and Lem Moore just the other day. I guess it was Monday. This week's a blur to me, but it was a really good webinar. He's got a really awesome app that they created that like is an instant authority injector. It's like instant channel authority. That's what it's called. And it's really cool. I've been playing with it for about a little over a week now, and I've set up multiple campaigns. I was kind of extending the case studies from the LiveRank Sniper case studies that I did as a bonus for this, as well as I added on some new case studies as well, because it's working really well. And what's cool about it is you can actually upload a bunch of videos and then set them like to a brand new YouTube channel, and without syndication networks or anything else. And then it's just unique in how it activates or makes all the videos public, and apparently that injects authority into the channel, and it makes the videos rank like crazy. And I don't understand how it works or why. I mean, like, I understand how it works, but I don't understand why it works so well, but it works really well. And so I've been using it a lot. And for the bonus, that webinar replay, we've got a link for that. And, the bonuses that we thrown in were the case studies that I did, which are multiple case studies. That training is being added to the bonus membership site, but all the other like unannounced bonuses that are part of that membership site as well. So guys, check it out. It was a rather short webinar, like an hour and 15 minutes or something like that, but just go check it out and see that even if you don't end up purchasing the product, the technique is really, really cool, and it works really well. So it's worth sitting through the webinar just to pick up that, if nothing else. Okay.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, we got that link. I think I just put it on. So we'll go check it out after this. It's really cool. Marco, word on the street is that there might be a webinar or something with you involved. I'm not sure what's going on there.
Dude, not only me, but I'm getting, Hernan has just been volunteered to come on and help me out. Because really like the last two seemed kind of disjointed. I mean, people, I don't know why, but somehow they didn't get the message, right? Some of the stuff. Some people said it's fabulous. A lot of people said, yeah, I got it. And I went and I started looking. And so they did actually what this is for. It's for you to think, go, research, and then do, right? It's not for me to do it for you. I mean, that's the whole. If you want me to do it for you, you're welcome to pay me my $750 an hour for consultation. If not, then you go do, which is what I've had to do for the last, 14, 15 years, right? Nobody showed me or told me or took me under their wing and said, this is how you do it, guy. This is how. I had to go and read it, put it all together. But anyway, the webinar is train think, apply, make money, lather, rinse, repeat. It's the semantic mastery way, right? And, just a quick going over what we'll be doing. I will be revisiting entity creation, validation, and verification, iframes, JavaScript, training the bot, and JSON plus LD plus content, which is our two-pronged approach to how we just slam everything. And then I will be going over whose way is the best way. It's not what you think.
Okay. Fair enough. Next.
You muted out.
Yeah, I'm doing a horrible job of pressing a button today. So, well, since Hernan got voluntold into this, Hernan, I think, is going to have something special too, maybe at that webinar, right?
Yeah, definitely. We are close. We are getting close to launch the battle plan, and that's part of the semantic mastery way, because actually on that battle plan it is the step by step on how to pretty much dominate a niche. Even if it is for age sites, for news sites, for local sites, for YouTube videos, we have everything in there. So it was, we were having a lot of questions about. I love you guys. I love your content. You have a shit ton of content, but I need a step-by-step blueprint, if you would. So that's exactly why we decided to put together on that battle plan, and that's going to be presented alongside Marco's genius rambling on Monday on awesome. The webinar. So yeah, awesome.
And if you're there, you're definitely going to get something special. So I'll just leave it at that, and say you want to be there.
It only took us 3 years to create the battle plan. We've been talking about it for 3 years. So
yeah. We got it.
I'm anxious to have that out too, because it's just something that we just never did, and we finally, actually, Hernan really put it together, and so hats off to you, Hernan. Thanks for doing that.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I've got my Nike shoe phones on. So, thank you, Wayne. I'm gonna real quick drop a link in. I suggest you guys check it out. It's free. First 3 chapters of a book from the CEO of ClickFunnels. And you can check that out. You obviously you got to give me your email, but you can go check that out. It's about building movements, building, a business, a real business, things like that. Just check it out. I'm not going to go into details. If that sounds interesting to you, by all means, go check it out. And I believe the full book is either out this week or next week. So do yourself a favor. If you don't like it, you invested an email address. If you do like it, you're going to get some good info out of it.
Wayne's still picking on you.
He is. And if we had more time, I would turn this into talking about my headphones. But
awesome, though.
Let's get into it.
Nobody is safe from the wrath of Wayne. So, all right, I think I'm gonna grab the screen now, guys. Are we ready?
Yes.
All right. Because otherwise, I'm just gonna sit here and read the chat box. When you guys can hear me?
Gotcha.
There we go.
Okay. All right, cool. So, by the way, just to comment on Adam's mention of the Expert Secrets book. Yeah, guys, if you're not already familiar with Russell Brunson and the whole ClickFunnels movement and like everything, you should become familiar. And this is an excellent opportunity to do so with that book. Because it's really been a transformative application that we use for our business. ClickFunnels has been, and it's a great company. They've got a lot of vision and stuff, and so we fully support them as well. Because it's been such a blessing to have in our own business, and so it's a good opportunity to check out what they've got going on and like learn some from a really great marketer of our time. So definitely check it out. All right, so Ballant is up. He says, hey, guys, so I'm syndicating content from both the brand website and YouTube channels, the brand's website and YouTube channels. How much would be the minimum to change the blog post from just plain embedding the YouTube videos? So would it be enough to add X amount of words extra next to the video, like transcribing or just posting the same content in a blog format? Or should the blog post have different content in order to not be a duplicate? Thanks. Well, Balint, you can do a transcription. That's fine. That's what I do with a lot of my like client sites, for example. Some of my clients actually, most of my clients are like in the contracting industry, so they do home services, so like HVAC services and plumbing and things like that. And so some of my clients, not all of them, because some of them just refuse to do it, but some of them like have their technicians go and I trained them to do this, but it's very simple. Like for example, a plumbing company, they send one of their plumbers out to a job, and once they get to the job and they assess what it is, or they complete the job, do the repair work or whatever it is, they pull out their cell phone and they record a short video saying, hey, this is John from Joe's Plumbing, and I'm out on location in Fairfax County, Virginia. I got a call for a leaky faucet. This was the problem that I found. This is what I did to fix it. If you have any problems like that require similar to like requiring faucet repair, call Joe's Plumbing at, and then they give the call to action. And they send me those videos, and I optimize them and upload them to YouTube, and then create the blog posts out of those with the transcription. So essentially, I just send the link over to a transcription service, have them transcribe the video, which is generally about a minute to a minute and a half long. So it cost me like $1.50 or $3 to get the thing transcribed. And when I get it back, I add that as the content. Well, or my VA will do it, or one of my VAs will do it. But they'll create a blog post with the video embedded and then the transcription underneath. And that's great because that works really well. Now, there's not really a way that you can automate that I automate it through a virtual assistant. That's my way of automating it. But I don't know that I don't know a way to do that using like IFTTT. So if you want to add the additional content, that's fine. Transcription works great. However, it would be a manual process, right? So one of the reasons why our YouTube syndication applets from IFTTT, the auto syndication applets, don't include like the description, for example, of the videos, and why we always just put like this video, was you can also be seen on YouTube here, and you put the YouTube link and maybe the channel link or a playlist link, but that's it. And the reason why is because through the many networks that I've had and tested over the years, I was finding that when you import the description, and you can change the applet, by the way, but we have the applet set up with the ingredients that work the best, that produce that don't cause any problems for your blog sites. What I was having problems with was at one point in time, I had a really large, what I called a video broadcasting network. Consider it like a PBN, but it was used specifically for just video syndication sites. Okay. And I would syndicate, and because of the way I would set up those video broadcasting network sites, again, similar to PBNs, right? So they were self-hosted WordPress sites on domains that I had picked up, like expired domains and stuff like that, and build out these syndication networks using the self-hosted WordPress site as the trigger point, right? And I would have YouTube actually, like every time I would upload a video to a particular channel, it would syndicate out automatically to all these WordPress sites, and then the WordPress site would trigger the IFTTT network around it. Right. And so they were random. Some of them would import video descriptions, some would not. And what happened was, through one of Google's de-indexing sprees that it goes on from time to time, I got hit, and my video broadcasting networks got hit. And all the sites that had been importing the descriptions got de-indexed. All of the sites that did not import the descriptions, that only had a YouTube video, so essentially the embed code and a link to the video itself, and then a link back to the channel and or playlist, all of those survived. And it was the same network, which was interesting. So it led me to, obviously, to understand that Google does not like the republishing or posting of the video descriptions. And I can understand why, because they can be a bit spammy, right? We drop links and all kinds of stuff into the description, and so it comes out looking spammy. And so that's why I stopped doing it, and why all of the applets that we provide don't pull in the descriptions. So the reason I tell you that is because if you're creating videos on the front end, and let's say that you already have, like, let's say that it's a recorded video where you've already written a script, for example. And so now you get the video created or recorded, and then you go to add the video to YouTube. Well, you already have the transcription at that point, right? Or you can record a video or have a video produced and then get it transcribed. And when you upload it to YouTube, you can add your transcription as the video description. That's the only way that I would know how to automate it, is if you had the transcription before you uploaded to YouTube. Does that make sense? So otherwise, if you upload the video first, then have it transcribed, well, when it uploads, it's going to automatically syndicate through your networks. So then you'd have to go in and manually edit your blog post and on your money site or whatever. but that wouldn't include the transcription across all those other properties either. Does that make sense? So the only way for you to syndicate the video plus the description with a transcription, I should say, is if you were to have that prepared ahead of time before you uploaded the video, which would trigger the syndication to begin with. Okay. And that's, you know, it's fine, guys, if you want to include that, do that kind of stuff on the front end. I don't recommend syndicating a video with use the applets the way we have them. I mean, you can test and you can play around with them, but just know that, you know, the reason we set those applets up the way we did was there was a reason for it. And that the reason that I just gave you. Okay. So as far as this, you know, again, I would recommend that you would either just upload the video using the applets the way that they are, and then go back on the Money Site blog and edit the post manually. And it's something a VA could do where they could add the transcription. That way, across all the syndication points, it's just the video embed and the links back, right? That's it. But then on the blog itself, which is a money site, yeah, that's fine to put the transcription there. That's how I would prefer to do it, as opposed to even transcribing ahead of time before syndicating, because then you end up having that, again, the additional text underneath the video, even though the transcription probably isn't as spammy as like a normal YouTube description. I still would, because I know of those types of syndication points getting shut down when the text is imported as well. And so I just prefer to avoid that and make sure that it's just a YouTube embed and then a link back to the video and or the playlist and or channel. Okay. All right. Well, hopefully that one was cleared up. Alexander says, I read somewhere that we should have 100 to 200 properties linked to our YouTube account to get a real boost on video syndicated through IFTTT. I'm beginning on video SEO now and loving the speed, and just got a little bit confused about it. Well, it depends, Alexander. You know, my most powerful networks have over 200 properties, because generally for anything that I'm going to, like any industry or niche that I'm going to be serious about, I start off with a minimum of 3 two-tier networks. And that's just because, you know, we have the infrastructure and, you know, the building team and everything. It's simple for me to just say, look, I need 3 full two-tier networks, and a week later I've got them, you know? And so those, if I'm going to be like real serious about something, and remember, guys, a full two-tier network is anywhere between 80 to 90 properties, right? So you're even at 80 at the low end of it, we're looking at 240 properties if you've got 3 full two-tier networks. So that is true in that my most powerful networks are generally in that range or so. But I know I have some syndication networks that are just tier 1 that have been powered up and have had consistent posting over time, and they've just gotten powerful because of that, because they're all themed really well and they've got history. So it really just depends. I mean, if you're starting off with newer networks that aren't themed or don't have a lot of life and history to them, if that makes sense, then what you want to, then you can add more networks, which would be more syndication points, or you can power them up with links and you know, other various things that you can do to power up the networks. You can do one or the other. If you're starting off, probably right off the bat, you're going to get faster results with more syndication points. But over the long run, it's actually better, in my opinion, to power up existing networks, because that helps the video ranks whatever results the networks provide by syndicating to them. It helps to keep those results to stick better. Does that make sense? So in other words, the more syndication points you add to a network, the faster the results typically are. But if it's new, then the results can slip rather quickly as well, meaning you get initial really good results, but then they'll start to drop. And obviously it's going to depend on many, many other variables, guys. But I'm saying just on the way that my data has trended, it shows that. And so that's why if you have a powered up network, typically the results that the syndication provides will stick for longer, right? And so way back when we had the first version of Syndication Academy out, I mentioned that because I mentioned that for example, you could stack multiple tier 1 networks, first tier networks, to a YouTube channel, and you get faster ranking results that way than using 2-tier networks. So what I'm saying is, let's say you had 10 single ring tier 1 networks that you wanted to attach to one YouTube channel, right? So that'd be essentially what, like 200 properties, right? You know, roughly 200 properties. That's going to get you really fast results. But a lot of the times those results will start to slip somewhat quickly. It would be better, instead of having 10 tier 1 networks, it would be better to say, let's say you had 3 full 2-tier networks, which would be 12 networks. But the 2-tier networks tend to help the video rankings to stick longer. And that's been something that I've noticed for years. So again, with my own data, if I can theme a network and power it up with links and then continue to publish to that, it seems to get a lot stronger, whether you have more and more syndication properties or not. So at some point, there's it's like a level of diminishing returns, right? Once you cross that point, it's really unnecessary to add additional syndication points. I think it's better to power up what you already have, if that makes sense. Okay. Anyways, you can play around with that, but yeah, I mean, obviously, if you're just starting off with new networks, more is better. More points are better. All right. Next is those IFTTT properties a good place to add NAP citations for local sites? Same thing with PR, NAP, and embeds. I guess PR must be press release. IFTTT, yeah, guys, anytime you can drop a NAP citation into a post or anything like that, as long as it's not been like spammed into it, like if it's if you have a good call to action at the end of a post and you want to drop the NAP, that's a good place to do it. Those all count as citations, guys. Like even, you can have a citation on a Blogger site and a Tumblr site. So yeah, if you want to drop an NAP into blog posts, that's perfectly fine. Same thing with press releases, guys. Most press release companies are going to have a section where you put your contact company details anyways, the NAP details. Especially, and even more PR sites now are actually allowing structured data for that so that you can mark that up, the NAP details with local business markup. Or it's done on the back end. In other words, they're just text fields. You enter in the company data and the PR company adds the structured data for where it's published on their site. Now, the syndication points, the press cables that pick them up, most of those will strip that out. But it doesn't matter. You still end up with the NAP details, the citation details. It's just an unstructured citation at that point. So it's absolutely valuable to do that. Make sure you're using a lot of brand anchors for that, though. You don't want to use keywords and stuff. All right, next one. And it's better to add, and then we're going to skip probably, I don't know how many questions do we have, because we got some people that posted a lot of questions in a row, guys, and we can't do that. We need to split the questions up so that it's fair for everybody. So I'm going to answer this one. If we have time, we'll come back and answer his next one. And is it better to add more accounts as tier 1 to the YouTube channel, or have one and a few tier 1 rings and then add the bulk of the other? Yeah, I already answered that one, Alexander. Again, you're going to get faster results with more tier 1 properties, but your results will stick longer if you use tier 2. And I don't go out to tier 3 because there's just too many steps chained together that if something goes wrong anywhere, it breaks down the whole system. So I don't do that. I don't do tier 3. I mean, I've done it, but I don't do it because it's too many moving pieces. In other words, I like to go out to tier 2, and that's the extent. If I want more and more, I just add more networks, more tier 1s and tier 2s. I don't bring it out to tier 3. I don't see that. I haven't seen any benefit in doing that, and it's just more work and more hassle. Okay. Like I said, if we have time, Alexander, we'll come back. Don's up. Don Johnson. That's awesome. He says, I understand the concept of using city subdomains for local businesses, but then for the root domain, do you focus on the main city or do you just focus it on anything at all, maybe state? Don, I always just use that as like the brand site. Like if there's a corporate headquarters, then that's what I will target this site. The root domain for will be like the corporate site. So it will, if there's a corporate headquarters, like a physical location, then I will reserve the root domain for that. So like if you're using, again, we can talk about structured data again, but if you're using like organizational markup and then you have separate locations, right? Then you would use the root domain for that. And then all your separate locations would be listed on subdomains, if that makes sense. So that's typically how I do it. So if you don't have a corporate headquarters, but you have then you can use, in other words, if you've got like all of your locations already built out on subdomains, then just use the root domain. At least this is the way I do it. I just use the root domain as like literally like a brand website. And it's more or less just a billboard, like an online flyer that says, This is who we are. This is what we do. And the pages on the site are like the locations page, the about us page, and the contact us page. That's it. That's all that's necessary. Unless you're going to be blogging from the root domain to the tier 1 branded network for all of the subdomain locations, in which case you want to have a blog and you want to have categories to match each one of the locations. So that whenever you create a post, if you're blogging from the root domain to do all your link building and content syndication from one website and from one WordPress site as opposed to multiple subdomains. That's how I do it for the most part, guys. We talk about this all the time. But when you have multiple locations, I always try to just build the single tier branded syndication network and then do all of my blogging from the root domain to cover all the subdomain locations. And then after a period of time and syndicating multiple posts and checking rankings and that kind of stuff, you'll notice that some of the locations will respond well to that. But then some of the subdomain locations won't. And the ones that need the additional push, you can always go out and create location-specific syndication networks for those subdomains that need the extra push, and then blog directly from those subdomains. But remember, try to get the best results with the minimum amount of work. So one branded network is all that's needed for multi-location. You blog from the root domain, cover all of your subdomains from that same blog. Just make sure you match categories with locations. If that makes sense.
Well, if I can just add something, one of the basic principles of our Syndication Academy and RYS Academy is to brand. We create a brand and we associate the brand, the keywords to the brand. We don't just chase keywords. We don't just chase location plus keywords. We actually teach you or tell you, build your brand and then associate the keywords to the. That's why what we do works so well. That's what sets us apart from everybody else, because there's hardly anyone online right now teaching you to do it like the big boys do it. Create your brand, associate the keywords to the brand, and then everything else just flows in. Whatever you do after that, whether you're blogging or doing a podcast, where you're doing whatever it is that you're doing in your social media or whatever, it's always pushing the brand and the keywords, the brand and the services, the brand and your product. But it is brand. So, and then the bot, once you hit it over the head enough, is smart enough. Oh, okay, so I need to associate this brand with this set of keywords, and that's when the magic starts happening. When the bot, I call it training the bot, but when the bot's been trained that way, then all sorts of good stuff starts. It just starts to happen.
Yep, totally agree, and that's that's part of like what we talked about with the crowd search webinar is that association that is made by the algorithm. I mean, RankBrain, guys, it learns, right? It's machine learning, but it's learning nonetheless, and so over time, with those associations are made and stored, and so it ends up adding weight to the site. How I was introduced into the concept was called site weight, and so all things being equal, if you had two, like let's just say plumbing sites that had the same virtually or comparably the same on-page SEO and the same off-page SEO. And I know this is obviously hypothetical because it's damn near impossible for that to be the case. But if those two were the same, everything else was virtually the same, then the site that had more brand mentions and more brand mentions, more navigational searches, which is people like searching for the company name contact information, company name location, that kind of stuff, that site will outrank the other one every time because it's given more weight by Google. In other words, it's a more authoritative brand. And that's what the algorithm determines that through search history and a lot of the other things, the semantic relationships and all that stuff. And that's in part why it works so well. So thank you, Mark, for bringing that up. So Dawn, yeah, just last thing is on the main domain. That's what I'm talking about. Just anything that's like you're talking about smaller city pages that aren't worth an entire subdomain. I get that. That's fine. That's absolutely fine to do that on the root domain. I would just, have a locations page that also links out and use the organizational structured data markup, because then you can, I can't show you an example. I wish I could, but I've got, like I do that for some of my sites that have multiple locations. You set a locations page, you mark everything up, you list all of your locations, everything's marked up correctly. It's very, very powerful. And then from the root, like I said, the root domain, you just focus on if you have a physical location for like a corporate headquarters, you make the route specifically about that, but you can have all the other locations listed, like I said, and then, you know, if you have like smaller city pages and stuff that aren't worthy of a subdomain, like you mentioned, that's fine. You can put all those on the root domain as well. What I would recommend with that, though, is, and that's why I said you don't, like, for a lot of times, and I don't want to overcomplicate this because I don't know how experienced you are, Don, but a lot of times people will put local business structured data and the, you know, with JSON LD markup in the site header, which is fine. But in a case like this, where you're going to have a locations page and potentially smaller city pages hosted on the root domain, you don't want to do that. What you want to do is on the locations page, use the structured data markup and put your work, because that's fine, guys. As per Google's best practices when it comes to structured data, they say it doesn't have to be on every page of the site. It only needs to be on a locations, about, or contact page. That's it. Google will read, as long as it's you know, you don't have bot blockers on there. Google will read it and will recognize and associate that business with that markup, if that makes sense. So for something like that, if you've got, you don't want to put it in site-wide is what I'm saying. You want to add that code specifically to the locations page. And then for each one of your smaller city pages, I would inject structured data into each one of those individual pages for that specific location. But if you don't have, you say smaller city pages, they might not have physical locations anyways. That makes sense. All right, we can go into a whole maybe someday we'll do a separate webinar just on structured data stuff, because I know we get questions about that all the time too. James says, if you curate content on a Web 2 from another source, can you add a link to your money site using a keyword from the text in the curated post, as well as linking back to the source, of course? James, I don't do that. I don't edit or modify the text that I'm curating at all. I don't know what the legalities are of that, but because I don't know, I don't do it. Does anybody else have a clear answer for that?
I would say that you're changing, if you're adding a direct quote, right, from that website, and you change it, then it's no longer,
that's right,
a direct quote. I mean, that it's not best practices. I know it's not best practices in you know, when you're writing something up. So I don't see why you would want to do that anyway. I don't know what it is that he's looking to accomplish, right, by doing that. Like, yeah. I'm not sure. So I mean, you don't need to. You just do the proper citation and you move on. You don't want to give yourself extra work, because it works perfectly well.
James, and that's what because if the only reason why I would see, if you're curating content from another source on your own blog, for you to change the text and add a link, is just so that you can link back to whatever, you know, drive visitors through that link to wherever you're trying to send them, or for SEO purposes. But the point is you've got your commentary section, right? That's the content that you write, or that your team writes, or whatever, your writer, your curator. That's what they write in between curated sections of the post, right? That's what's called commentary. And so when in those commentary sections, you can create links to whatever you want. You can use the, you know, anchor text links, whatever types of links, whatever type of anchor text, you can send people wherever you want. So I'd recommend not altering the curated content at all. Curate it exactly as it was written, where it was originally published, and then cite the source where it was published. And then, you know, add your link into the commentary section. There's really no reason, and that I know of, without knowing more about your specific situation, James, there's no reason for you to edit the curated content. And I recommend that you don't do that, because, again, I don't know what the legalities are, but I wouldn't want to alter it in any way. Okay. Ivan says, hey, guys, I asked a couple weeks ago on number 126, is it worth the effort to treat tier 1 blog components as money sites? I took the time to build a website on jimdo.com, and I saw some backlinks inside my search console. How can we post to it automatically if it's not inside IFTTT? Ivan, that's a good question. You'd have to look for potentially maybe another application that would connect with Jimdo. IFTTT does not. I don't know if Zapier does. There's also another similar service called Deliverit, DLVR.IT, I think it is. Those are all services similar to IFTTT. and you might want to check and see if Jimdo connects with any of those. I don't know if it does or not, but if it doesn't, then you can't. I mean, there might be a plugin that connects that will post to Jimdo as well from a WordPress site, but I don't know that. I don't know of any off the top of my head, but that doesn't matter. I mean, you can still use Jimdo. You just won't be able to use it as part of your syndication network, but you can still use it as a tier 1 link. It just won't be an automated thing unless you can find an app that does it. Okay.
I think that there's a plugin that does that. I can't remember what the name of it is off the top of my head.
Does Snap do it?
Yeah, maybe Snap does it.
Social Networks Auto Poster plugin?
Yeah.
There's a bunch of others. I mean, they've come up with a bunch of others that could possibly do it. There's one called Hypersocial Buffer, I think it is. I'm not sure whether it does it.
Yeah, I don't know which networks this posts to, guys, but that's NextScript's Social Networks Auto Poster. I know that's one that a lot of people use for stuff. So, I mean, that's all you got to do, Ivan, is just go digging around, see what you can find. There might be a plugin or another app that will do it. If IFTTT doesn't do it, you got to look for another solution. If you can't find one that will work, then, again, you can still use Jimdo as a tier 1 property. It just won't be an auto syndication point. Okay? All right, Columbia's got several in a row. We'll try to run through a couple of them. Do you have any kind of index or searchable database of the timestamps of topic for all the past day Hump Day Hangouts? There's so much great info here that would be great to have. The only thing that you can do, Columbia, and we add timestamps, which helps quite a bit. But the only thing that you can do is just use the search function in the YouTube channel. So if we go over here, we'll go to let's just.
We do have them in a playlist though, so you can at least go into the playlist.
Yeah. If you go to view channel, so just go to youtube.com, look for Semantic Mastery, it'll come right up. And then right here, when you click on the channel, you'll see this little spyglass icon. You click on that, it says search channel, and that's where you can type in your query. And because we add timestamps, the YouTube search function within our channel works fairly well. I know the YouTube search is kind of shitty overall in YouTube for the most part, but it works fairly well on our channel because we actually add the timestamps to all of our videos. Okay, so that's the best thing that we can
I think
suggest.
you can also do a playlist search. If you go to the playlist, to Hump Day Hangout playlist, I think you can search the playlist.
It says search channel. I don't know how to search playlist, but yeah, I don't see a specific search for playlist. There might be a function. I've just never seen it. So anyways, yeah, I mean, personally, I would just search the channel. But if there is a playlist search function somewhere, then yeah, try that too, I suppose. Okay. All right, next. With regard to tag stuffing, how many separate tags would be the maximum be safe? I don't know, Columbia. Honestly, I've never stuffed enough tags into a YouTube video. I've never been real heavy on doing a whole bunch of tags because I always try to keep my tags very focused around the singular keyword that I'm trying to rank for, right? So I don't know. Does anybody else here know how many tags or what, or like, you know, I don't know. I personally, like I said, I usually will keep it to about 5 to 8 tags, and they're usually very focused around my primary keyword that I'm trying to rank for. So, anybody else got an answer for that?
No.
Okay.
And I haven't heard of any hard and fast rule. So I would make it probably go by user experience and finding your niche and keep it pretty simple.
Yeah, I mean, all I do is Columbia is well, there's a few things that you can do. One is if you use the plugin TubeBuddy. TubeBuddy's a great plugin which will show you like the tags of similar videos, like what their tags are, and it will show you the popularity of that tag. In other words, like how often those tags occur in similar videos, that kind of stuff, so that you can figure out which are the most weighted tags or the most common tags so that you can match those. So TubeBuddy is a great tool for that. It's a Chrome plugin, or it's a YouTube plugin, I guess. Anyways, it's called TubeBuddy. Check that out. It's pretty cool. That's what, and there's some other tools that do like similar stuff where they'll like scrape tags. Lisa Allen has one. It's called Tube Viper X. I'm seeing the icon over here. It's called Tube Viper X. So she's got one. There's another one called two Branker Jeet or something like that. I don't know. There's a bunch of tools out there that you can find that are like tag scrapers, and some of the tools will show you the priority, like tags in order of priority and that kind of stuff. So you can use stuff like that. But typically, for me personally, whatever my primary keyword is, I usually end up adding that tag as well as any local modifiers as individual tags, like the city names, and then a couple slight variations of my primary keyword, the most closely related variations, and that's it. So my tag list for any given video is usually no more than 8 tags. It's anywhere between 5 to 8 tags tops. And that's because I always am trying to hyper focus around one singular keyword for each video. Okay? That's just the way that I've done it for years. So
I have an idea for Colombia. All of our videos on YouTube are on the playlist. They're titled Hump Day Hangouts, right? Hump Day and then Hangouts, one word. She can add plus and look for the keyword, and that'll search the Hump Day videos.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks. All right. Is there any problem with changing and improving tags after you've live streamed a video channel? No, Columbia, not at all. You can go in and edit those anytime. It's not going to hurt anything. And I've played around with, like, if a video isn't ranking as well as I want, you can go in and kind of mess around with the tags a little bit, but give it a few days and see what happens. Because a lot of times you won't see changes. I'm not saying changing the tags is going to have any effect on your video. All I know is I've done that, and I've added tags or removed tags or replaced tags, and I've seen movement. So I just to let you know, it's not going to affect anything. I mean, it could affect a video negatively, but you just have to play with it and see. If that was the case, you just switch it back to what it was before. All right. Look at that. That's Napoleon Dynamite's profile photo. That's awesome. Joe T says, what's the best way to rank using 301 redirects? Well, I mean, there's so many different answers for that. 301 redirects can be used for a million things. We use them for Switchbox SEO mainly. Terry Kyle coined that term, Switchbox SEO. So you can go to Terry Kyle's blog and read about it. But that's like, it was a great concept. I mean, we were using 301 redirects anyways, but that kind of like really opened up a whole lot of doors for us as far as things that we do with 301s. And we used to use 301s for a lot of real nasty stuff. We still do for a lot of real nasty stuff, but not in the same way that we used to. I like to use 301s obviously for cloning sites and in building links to my domain as opposed to my clients' domains. That way I keep some level of control in case they don't need me anymore. But we can use 301 redirects. What's great about 301 redirects is if you do all your link building to a domain that you have full capability of, removing redirects or redirecting somewhere else, then that's why it's called Switchbox SEO, because it's like you can turn it on and off at any moment. So if you're doing something particularly nasty and it ends up causing some problems, you can just open that redirect. It's just like opening a switch, right? And it cuts that negative link juice off from whatever the destination was, where the redirect was. So there's a lot of stuff that you can do with 301 redirects. But again, that's we could cover that for an hour, and it's a little bit too broad of a question for here. You guys want to comment on that at all?
Yeah, if it's cheap, since we are doing it with XYZ or .links or whatever you want to do, if it's cheap and, if I can protect you, go ahead. Why not? Some people will, I usually like to do it with domains that I can own and that I can control. Right. That's why I'm saying, .xyz, .link, you can do it with URL shortener, sorry, but most of the time, you cannot change the destinations and you do not control them, And some people will actually go ahead and make the mistake of doing geo.gl, which we do not recommend if you're doing nasty stuff, unless you are unless you're part of Airways Academy, of course, where Marco will teach you how to go through that flawlessly. But in any case, I would suggest that you go with XYZ domain, .link domain, cheap $1 a year domain that you can reuse, that you can spam, and it doesn't hurt you. So,
yeah. Okay. I get emails promoting X-Room or backlinks. Can you rank today with X-Room or links? And if so, how without getting penalized? No, I wouldn't do it, Joey. it depends on if you're spamming a Web 2 property, for example, that's one thing. If you're spamming a citation or a press release, again, that's one thing. But I wouldn't be trying, I wouldn't have XRoom or backlinks pointed within 3 tiers of my, within 2 tiers for sure of my money site. It's just spam. I mean, look, guys, and when I say XRoomer links, I'm assuming, correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't XRoomer links mainly like blog comments and forum profiles and stuff? Isn't it like real spam stuff? I don't use XRoomer. That's why I'm asking.
I haven't used it in so long that that's how it was. It was mainly comment spam.
Yeah, comment spam all the way. Yeah. I mean, they still work, but as far as possible from your money site,
right?
You know, we still use spam tools, but as far as possible of the money site. Moreover, now that we figured out, Marco came with the news kind of saying, hey guys, Google is going 2 or 3 tiers deep. So if you can go it for tier 4 or tier 5 for XRoomer, that would be a good idea actually.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can use them for, like, for example, like YouTube videos, man. I know I've ranked YouTube videos using nothing but comment spam before. It's been a while. I haven't attempted it in quite some time, but I mean, YouTube videos like press releases, citations, things like that that can withstand that kind of spam. Yeah, but remember, we always talk about treating your tier 1 properties as extensions of your brand. So in other words, if you want to spam a citation, make sure that it's like a no follow link to your money site, for example, because you don't want to spam something with a do follow link, a tier 1 property with a whole bunch of comment spam. It can end up hurting your money site, like the final destination. You don't want to do that. But if you've got like a press release or something like that that you're just trying to push up and spam it, most of those types of sites will withstand it, that kind of abuse. But again, we recommend not spamming your tier 1 properties for the most part, because you want to treat those as extensions of your brand. Tier 2, fine. If you want to spam your tier 2 properties, do it.
If I can clarify, we're not saying that spam doesn't work, because we still use GSA. In fact, we use Fiverr GSA gigs, and the links come back showing adult business, which means porn, right? In Majestic speak. And so they use porn links to drop our links in, and it still works like gangbusters. Like, stuff still ranks, but you have to know what you're doing. We throw a double spam filter in so that the links come through squeaky clean. Now, if you don't know or don't understand what I just said, don't do it, because you'll get in trouble.
All right, Toby's up. Do you use aggregate rating? Have you ever seen the results in Google that have the star ratings on them, like the image below, image of a 4 out of 5 star rating on a website? Pretty badass, right? Did you know that those are actually super easy to get, and Project Supremacy plugin can do that for you in about 60 seconds? Okay. I mean, I haven't played with Project Supremacy plugin in quite some time. We have it. I just haven't messed with it. And yes, the site above got its reviews and star rating generated with the plugin. Okay. Let's see. How do you get those star ratings to show up? It's actually through a very specific JSON-LD schema tag aggregate rating. Yeah, and that's right. I mean, that's been part of that plugin since it was launched, right? So yeah, I'm familiar with that. I've got a client site that we've tried a million things with that we just can't get the star ratings to show, though, including Project Supremacy plugin. It hasn't worked for that. I've banged my head against the wall for months with that site, and we still can't get it to work. So if the particular schema tag is read by your site on Google, they will display your star rating in it with amazing ease. This sure sounds like a pitch, but anyways, I don't see a link, so we're going to move on. It's a decent plugin, guys. There's no doubt, but this isn't really a place to promote the shit out of somebody else's stuff. So
this is not the place for that, for somebody else's. And not only that, since most of the people on Hump Day are beginners, they're going to go and spam away with 5-star ratings and get a schema spam penalty for what do you call it? Fake 5-star ratings, fake reviews,
structured data spam.
Absolutely. Yep. It's a great way to get yourself in trouble if you don't know what you're doing.
That's right. And I know because I've gotten those manual spam action notifications in Search Console that says structured data spam, and you can get them cleaned up and reversed. But why would you want to raise a red flag? I'm not saying don't use the stuff, guys. It's just use it correctly, use it right. Like, for example, I've got a client that has an ungodly amount of real reviews from real customers, and we're having a hard time getting it to show on his site. So that's not structured data spam, but I have gotten that manual spam action through Search Console before, and so have many others. So,
well, think of it this way. Just to finish this up, how many real people give everything 5 stars? How many real people give everything 5 stars and a review, just these fabulous reviews that are just don't look natural? So you got to think of it that way. What looks natural?
Yeah. All right, we're almost out of time. It's a 5-minute warning, so I'm going to roll through just a couple very quickly. Columbia's got several here again. Columbia, just for next time. I don't remember seeing your name before, so I'm sure you didn't know. And Toby, thank you, by the way, for mentioning that. Yeah, just guys, just split your questions up so that it allows other people to get their questions in as well. It's only fair. All right. So Columbia says, I wanted to have an end screen link from the YouTube video directly to my author client's books page on Amazon. However, Amazon is not on the approved vendor list for YouTube. Is there a way to link directly out to the end screens, or do I have to go through another site and then from that site send them to Amazon? What I recommend, Columbia, is set up a bridge page, which, in other words, a page on one of your domains that you can verify, that you can add as an associated website. And I saw your questions from above these, and so this will make sense in a minute. But if you add your own domain as an associated website, then you can use the end screens and cards to link directly to any page on that domain. And then you can have the call to action on that page with the link that clicks over to the Amazon page. Does that make sense? So you send people to a page that has maybe some more information about the product, the book, whatever. And in your case, it sounds like a book. And then from there, you have a button or a link that links over to the actual Amazon product page. Does that make sense? So it's a 2-step because you can't link directly to Amazon because you don't own that domain. Does that make sense? All right. So next, Columbia says, can I have multiple verified websites for cards and end screens? Yes, Columbia. So inside YouTube, excuse me, let me jump over here real quick because I do want this. That's why I want to answer these questions, because I know these are questions a lot of people ask about. So go to your dashboard and then go to channel. And then you want to go to advanced. And you're going to scroll down, and right here where you see associated website, you add your domain in there and click add or whatever the button says at that moment. And then what you have to do is make sure the domain is connected to within the same Google account to Google Search Console. So you have to verify and connect and verify your website to Google Search Console within the same account as your YouTube channel. Okay. I mean, you can do it if you're adding another account as a manager. You can do all that kind of stuff. But just because you're new, I recommend using the same Google account for the Search Console, verifying your website there. Once you verify it, you come back over here and you refresh the page, or it'll have a verify button. You click verify and it'll turn green and say success. Now, if you want to add another website, you can add as many websites as you want, at least as far as I know. I've never been told that I can't add another verified website. You just click remove and you add the next site again. And that does not remove it as an associated website. It's still connected and can still be used. Even though you click the remove button, it can still be used. And that now you just add another domain in here and click add, and it'll say verify, and it'll prompt you to go add the next domain to the Search Console. That's it. And so, like, you can have multiple domains that you can that are called associated websites. All right, that's perfectly fine to do. All right, almost done. I know we got 2 minutes. So what is the difference in how it works for a verified associated site versus linking in the site in the description? Well, because in the description of a YouTube video, you can link to any link you want. You don't have to own the website. You don't have to verify it. You don't have to do any of that. You can link wherever you want within the description. As an associated website, that gives you the ability to link via end screens and cards. It used to be able to link through external annotations, but they've done away with external annotations, right? So now it's end screens and cards. But that's how you do it. You can link within the video to a associated website, which has to be verified in order to be an associated website. The video description, you can link to whatever you want. All right. 3 favorite video rank trackers. I've only got one. It's proranktracker.com. That's the one that I use for video rank tracking. That's it. I don't use 3. I don't have 3 favorites because I only use one. And I have for about 1.5 years or 2 years now. It's proranktracker.com. It's awesome for videos. All right. All right, guys. I'm sorry, but we've got to go. I'm going to answer this real quick just as I saw. It says, hi, everyone, and thank you for letting me be a part of this. I'm brand new to SEO. Please bear with me if my questions sound stupid. No, there's no stupid questions, Allah. I'm based in Denmark in Europe, and my question is, can I use a home address to register my business for local SEO? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, you can. If it's your business, and you're running it from your home, yeah, absolutely. That's totally legit. Okay. I would not register other people's businesses for lead gen to your home address. I would certainly not do that. If you're gonna I don't know about how it is in Denmark, but in the United States, just I set up virtual mailboxes places and do that. But for your own business, yeah, use your own home address. It makes no difference. There's no reason you shouldn't. All right, guys, that's it for Hump Day Hangout. Sorry for some not the questions. Oh man, we got to most of them. So sorry, guys, just a couple of you didn't get answered. If you want, you can post your questions in one of our groups in Google Plus or Facebook, and we'll try to get to them there. Otherwise, we can answer them next week.
Sounds good. And remember, if you're new to Semantic Mastery, please check out the Syndication Academy at syndication.academy. And don't forget to sign up for Marco's webinar. We'll put the links up there again, so get signed up.
Awesome. Yeah, and guys, don't forget to check out that Lori says, I really wish you would do a Webby on markup. We can, Lori. We probably will. I'll talk to Marco about it and Hernan, and we'll get something scheduled for that. I think we should. So, all right, guys. Anyways, don't forget to go check out the Rocket Video Ranker Pro webinar. It's a really, really cool application. It works really well. I endorse it. So check it out, and we'll see everybody next week. Thanks, guys.
That's good. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.